Hey guys, so this week for the pet portrait I'm going to be finishing the background once and for all. All that's left is the park bench that Gus, the dog, was sitting on, and also the foliage behind it. And I'll be honest, when I saw this photo before painting it, just in passing, didn't really dawn on me the amount of layers to the background, or depth maybe is a better word. It kind of goes into that thing that I've noticed about myself, which is I don't notice things in passing, whether that be I don't know, something about a flower or Gus or anything like that. But then once I actually have to recreate it by painting it, all of a sudden I notice all of these details that make it far more complicated than I thought it was initially. And this is definitely doing exactly that. So gotta work on that. And also any leftover paint that I have from working on the bench, I will be painting a little bit of the sides of the canvas since it is about an inch thick, and leaving it white will be distracting. So I'm just going to be using the extra paint that I have so that it at least somewhat ties in to the main picture and isn't too distracting. I'll be honest, I have not spent that much time on this portion of the background yet. I've only put about an hour in so far, but it's a lot less space than the denim was, so I've got a little bit more hope that it won't take quite as much time. But what I didn't realize when I had first started it wasn't just the bench that was the background, because it's a wood bench, and so there are slats and you can see further behind it. So the foliage that had fallen, the various colors of that, and there's a lot more color mixing than I had anticipated, and really trying to get the colors and the shape that is actually there rather than what I think is there. I don't know how to describe this other than when I'm not looking at the reference in a very objective way, what ends up happening is it kind of ends up looking like early ChatGPT AI art, where you're looking at, a hand and going, why does that have 7 fingers? Or something isn't quite right. And because of that, that's how I ended up with a lot more gray in the wood than I thought I would, just because this is a wood bench that was in a public park, and on the older side, so it's been weathered. It's definitely not like fresh wood, it's definitely going to give someone splinters. So there's that, and so far I'm really liking it. I do need to let it dry just a little bit because I put so much Galkyd gel in it, which makes the paint dry faster, that I thinned it out a little too much, and it's a little transparent and very, very, very slippery. Way too slippery, oh my gosh. So I need to do another layer of that for sure before I move on to anything else, because I don't want to have to go back and do it once I've already painted Gus, because I'm worried that I'll end up getting paint over Gus, if that makes sense. Like, do it in the layers of furthest to closest, if that makes sense. And something that actually did end up changing as I was doing this was I did try to do the whole blurred out of focus effect for the background just so I could really pull focus to Gus. I have such respect for people who can do that. And like, oh my god, that one artist that can paint a realistic painting of like a fog on a window and someone's like drawn in it. The amount of skill that must take, because I was struggling so hard. So now instead of doing it with a blurred background, I'm just going to put a lot less details on the background just so that the contrast really draws your eye to Gus. As I said, I need to let it dry a little bit before I continue, just because right now when I put paint on it or put my brush on it, I'm just wiping the paint off rather than layering it on. It's just very slippery. So if you're getting into oil painting, fair warning, that will happen, and it's okay. This is a game of patience, truly, because if I would start working on it right now, I would get frustrated, and if I just kept doing that, it would just continually take longer and longer because I'm just adding drying time. So, but yeah, I'm really excited to actually start the subject, but that's not going to be in this video. That's why I'm hoping to get the entire background done. I'm a little bit intimidated by painting, you know, the main focus of the painting, because that is the make or break, I think, for this painting, because I want to be able to look at this painting once it's done and up on the wall and go, this is Gus. This is his personality. This is kind of the little twinkle in his eye. This is him. Versus looking at it and going, okay, this is a black dog who looks similar to Gus. And the only way to really, I guess, work through that is to just work on it. And if it doesn't go well, that's fine. I can start over. Particularly since I'm not doing a lot of texture. It's not intentionally. I'm not intentionally doing texture. So realistically, it's a lot easier to paint over something that's smooth than trying to paint over something that, you know, has a lot more body to it. Yeah, that is my current update. Because of that, how slippery it was, I was also struggling a little bit to blend in the shadows and everything how I wanted it. So it looks a little bit blocky to me, I won't lie. But again, patience. It is not a strong suit of mine, but it is something I'm exercising. Maybe I can build like endurance, like you do at the gym. This is my patience gym. Gosh, I need to stop talking. Okay, that's it. This feels like a good place to stop, so that's where I'm gonna call it for this video. The bench still feels like it's missing something, maybe wood grains. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm gonna sit on it while I probably do the rest of the painting, because I don't want to rush into anything and then just not like it and then have to figure out how to get rid of it. That seems like far too much work. So I'm just gonna kind of sit on it and ponder it while I do the rest of this painting. And if you haven't already seen how I got to this point in the painting, first off, what are you doing? You're watching things out of order. And you can go back and watch those videos if you're interested. It has me doing little rough draft paintings of learning how to paint Gus, which is the dog, and also preparing this canvas and doing the first section, which was kind of the Canadian tuxedo that's happening. I think that's what you'd call people wearing entirely denim. I could be wrong, but if that is what it's called, that's what I'm painting in one of the previous videos. So with that being said, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week, and goodbye until next time.